I'm going to take you through one of my self-massage and trigger point routines that I use for any foot discomfort after a long day on my feet. This is also great for those of you who suffer with plantar fasciitis. I hope it helps. So I always like to start any self-massage or trigger point with my physio cream, and I'm going to show you how I massage that into my feet first before I use the trigger point balls. So as I mentioned before, I always like to start any trigger point release work with warming up the muscles, and I always go for physio cream because it's natural. And I'll start by rubbing this through the entire foot, top and bottom. And then I'll work through massaging all the muscles through the top. You may notice that if your toes are cramped and lifted, you really want them to relax and stretch out. So being able to massage through the top of the foot really helps with this. I then also spread the toes out. So I spread in between each toe, stretching out those joints. And then sometimes I thread my fingers through and just shake and pull on the toes a little bit. Grab the big toe, do the same, and the little guy. And then when I do this, I also like to massage through the side of my heel, both internal and external, and then through the sole of my foot, just running my fingers down the muscle. Because this is warming up the muscle, not actually doing the hard work like the trigger point balls will do. You can just do this really gently. And then through and underneath the toes as well. Next, I'm going to show you how to trigger point them. So now that you've massaged your feet with the physio cream and they're all warmed up and you've done through the ankles as well and the end of the calves, then going to take a larger ball and we're going to place that underneath the arch of the foot. And we're going to start by just moving back and forward. Nice and simple. If you find that this is too much pressure, I suggest taking a seat as well, because that means you can lift a little bit of that pressure off the foot. You want to go back about 10 to 20 times, and then we're going to place the heel on the floor, and because this is a bigger ball, it's really good for this. It's got that extra height. We're going to place the ball underneath the toes so they wrap around, and then you're just going to lean forward into it. So it stretches the calf a little bit, puts pressure on the toes, and the bottom of that foot wraps around the top of the ball. And alleviate the pressure. And we're then going to swap out the big ball for the smaller one. This can be a golf ball or a tennis ball. So we're going to place that now on the floor underneath the arch of the foot again, and we're going to roll back and forward. You can see now it's a little bit more finite, that pressure, closer to a trigger than not. So now find a point that feels tender, and you would just hold on that point, leaning forward into it. You want to count to the count of 30 or until the pain goes from anywhere around a 7 or above down to a 3 or a 4. You would then find another point, and I suggest rolling it about half an inch back, and again press down again, do the same thing 30 seconds or until the pain dissipates. And then we're going to bring it back to the front, and we're going to take it underneath those toes, and you're going to wrap it underneath, and you're going to turn your foot side to side. So you're just moving the foot side to side, so it's rolling under the big toe and then under the small toe. You're trying to spread out those metatarsals, so the bones in the foot, so they wrap around and release the tension. Once you've done that, we're then going to bring it forward so the heel is directly on top of that ball, and this is where a golf ball is really, really handy for this trigger point. You're going to place it right on the heel, and again just leaning into it, pressing down through the heel. And then if you want to, you can roll the ball side to side, just moving the ankle. You can even draw circles. It's always nice if you're going to draw circles to have something to hold on to. It just gives you a bit more control. Then from there, we're going to move to the edge of the foot, so the outside edge of the foot. So the ball is going to hang outside the bottom of your foot, so you should be able to see it. And we're just going to roll back and forth on that edge, all the way from the heel to the outside of that pinky toe, to the smallest toe. Nice and slow. You can see it is quite difficult. Another way of doing this as well is if you have a rolling pin or a glass bottle and you go on that and roll up and down along that, can be a nice way of getting that edge without having to worry about the ball moving left to right. Once you've done that about 10 to 20 times, we can then move on to stretching through the top of the foot. If you're looking for trigger point balls, I recommend Zone by Lydia for 100% sustainable cork balls. I also suggest Physio Cream for an all-natural solution to self-massage. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to ask. And if you have a specialist that you speak to about your plantar fasciitis or foot problems, make sure you check in with them first.